Crazy how this thing called love. Just what I've been dreaming of. And I can never figure out, oh, how you do what you do. Why I'm so in love with you. I like the way you make me smile. Boy, you give me butterflies. And when I look into your eyes, I'll see the future, me and you. That's why I wrote this song for you. I-L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. I-L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Just want you to know what I think of you. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Baby, you've got what it takes to make your girl say L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. If I met you in another life and you asked me to be your wife, with grace and a smile I say, yeah, always now and forever. You be my one and only lover. Cause I like the way you make me smile. Boy, you give me butterflies. And when I look into your eyes, I'll see the future, me and you. That's why I wrote this song for you. I-L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. I-L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Just want you to know what I think of you. L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Baby, you've got what it takes to make your girl say L-O-V-E-Y-O-U. Pa-pa-pa-da-pa-pa, 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 pa-pa-pa-da-pa-pa.
I've seen him when I get out of Brentford, I put there. Because Ali and I see him carrying in Europe. Some point in the country, all government are in eligible interest. That's the damn money. But we say how much money the small will get, we'll go to our people there and go pay for the small invest. I can't pay how one can invest. So I was going to tell the money I carry to Ghana, correct? No. But one can get it out of me, I will take it from you, Gary. No. Yeah, I'll leave it here. Yes. The day God take me, I will carry her with me. No. Our grandchildren will kind of see the ones there, but what kind of looking for? They go book power there. So these are the things we'll be doing. So I just want to say thank you to for doing what he's doing. What the young man doing, he's just doing part. One day will not be represented.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, welcome to Attorney Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. It's in the lower 70s degrees in Providence, Rhode Island. Today is going up to the lower 80s. Rain, yes. Be careful. Carry your umbrella, your raincoat, drive safely, and take heed and govern yourselves accordingly. It's a new day. So, as we wake up this morning to news of yet more violence in Liberia, let's take a look at my topics for this morning. 1. What changed for hope? How the Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC, missed its mark. 2. Visiting Nova Scotia, Canada. Continuing my show from yesterday on my visit to Canada. So let me take a coffee break and we'll start my show effective immediately. What changed for hope? How the Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC, missed its mark. We wake up this morning to news of yet the continuation of violence in the Republic of Liberia. We wake up to news of the university students stoning the AME college on Benson Street, busting up cars, windows. I mean, just lawlessness. But who can you blame? Who can you blame? All of this falls on the head of George Weah and his government. They initiated the violence. If they had left these children alone on July 26th and let them demonstrate and do what they wanted to do at the embassy and go home, nothing would have happened. These students did not disturb the July 26th program. They were not even near the pavilion where the program was being held. They were totally across on the other side of the city, going to the U.S. Embassy to give their petition. What was so harmful about that? Why you got to send people to counter-protests when you know these things always lead to violence? Even in the United States of America, when people are protesting and other people have counter-protests to that, the police is always there to protect them, to divide them, to maintain peace and order in the city. So why and how do you think in a country like Liberia that is so close to disorder and lawlessness, you have a protest and people going to counter-protest and there will be no violence? But you see the part about it, the people that are going to counter-protest are people from the government party. They're not just ordinary citizens who don't like what the university or students are doing. They are from the political party of the president going to counter-protest against these students. And this whole thing broke up into violence. Now, so many students are still hurt, still suffering from injustice and lawlessness against them, perpetrated against them by these thugs of the CDC government. And now there's a breakdown in law and order in Liberia. It's a total breakdown. This is civil disobedience because the government tried to disperse a peaceful protest by the students that were far away from the activities of the government on July 26th, our Independence Day. They sent their thugs to beat these guys up and disperse them. Now, our country is in a state of lawlessness. The police has no control over the people now. The government has no control because the government has lost control, except the military will come in and start shooting and beating people up. But until that happens, there will be lawlessness in our country. Same thing happened on the door. Once the killing started, the beating started, and the citizens stood up against them and started to protest and civil disobey the government, violence erupted. So, what change for hope are we talking about? We look at the newspaper yesterday and see that Dr. Toga McIntosh, who was a strong supporter of the CDC government and even a former foreign minister of that government, has spoken up against the president. He has spoken against the Change for Hope, which was the target message of the CDC party in 2017 when they won the election. He said a hope for change. They want to change for hope. So that all the message that went out. But Dr. McIntosh is saying that this concept of change for hope has missed its mark. Just the other day, when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf got mad when Dr. Sawyer died recently, and she was talking about governance and how the country has no governance chair no more, and blah, blah, blah. George Weah appointed Dr. McIntosh to that position because he only does things when Ellen Johnson said things. So after she spoke, he went and appointed Dr. McIntosh to be governance chair. Now Dr. McIntosh declined. He said, I don't want that job. And his reason was, it's personal. But not long after that, we see Dr. Toga McIntosh came out, the same McIntosh came out and stated that he was giving his support, his political support to Alexander Cummings of the Alternative National Congress instead of George Weah, whose party, his party is a coalition of. So that's right out the man telling George Weah, you can't lead me no more. Your time is out. You failed. And that is just what he said. He said, Change for Hope message for 2017 general and presidential elections is not manifested in the lives of the vast majority of the Liberian people. So what he's saying indirectly is that they failed. Government promises have yet to be actualized. Go and read from Base Africa. First he came out and said that he couldn't support George Weah no more because George Weah had failed. The country is dirty, people dying, no safety in the country, lawlessness, disobedience from the citizens. The country is impoverished. The people impoverished. The economy is terrible. He said that the last time too. Then he declared his support for Alexander Cummings to be president of Liberia instead of his own party's head, coalition head. Now he comes out today. What he said yesterday in the newspaper was from an interview on the T-Mac show 50-50 on the 9th of August, 2 days ago. So after sitting down with T-Rex, he talked about the economy, how terrible the economy is, how people are suffering, the lives of the people running amok. People are suffering. And he said, we talk about peace. He said George Weah has been able to maintain the peace thus far. But things are changing now because there's a breakdown in the leadership due to violence, trying to stop the people from protesting, stopping the people from taking the message to the public. He's using violence. And all of this will break down into lawlessness and total civil disobedience. And this is what he's saying here. He said the nation is peaceful, but the government is putting petrol to escalate violent acts and happenings due to failure of the government to deliver on its promises. So he said all the promises, the hope for change for hope promises, the pro-poor agenda, all these things that George Weah then made promises to the people to do for them if they were elected, all these have failed. They failed because the government is incompetent. The government is inept. The leadership is thuggish. They are rogues and criminals, and they can't succeed. So Dr. McIntosh is disassociating himself from this criminal entity and saying, no, our people deserve better. He said voting for hope. Liberian people voting for hope is for their children's survival and future, for them to go to school, for them to have hospitals, for them to be able to eat. And when all these things are lacking, when the economy is so bad, the government can't even pay its people. That's a problem. The government has failed to pay its people. And he talked about the governance commission, the council. This council was formulated in 2017 under Ellie Johnson Sirleaf and all of that because they wanted the government to have a team interacting with each other. And he said the reason for it the reason for the council was to make sure that party was victorious during the 2017 election. So when this governance committee was set up and it was turned over to George Weah, the whole process was to ensure that his government was successful, that the election commission chair will use every means to advise the government right, to work with them, to have meetings, to monitor everything the leadership is doing so that there can be consistency in governance. There can be good governance of the country. So they had to apply all the strategies and reaching out to other people in the community to ensure that the government was functioning good. All the other leaders in the society reaching out to them. And that was one of the purposes of the governance commission. The other one was to give advice and be a part of a team to govern the country, by consistently meeting and monitoring the leadership of the country. And he says, this is where they fail. This is where they fail. Since 2017, until George Weah tried to appoint him recently as chairman of the governing council, he said the council has never met. He said from 2017 to 2022, they have met about 2 or 3 times. So there's no interest in this governance commission. There's no interest. There's no interest. And leadership is weak. He said the council failed to meet consistently as part of its task. and responsibility since the CDC won in 2017. Now the people have never met. So when you pointing a man, why are you appointing Dr. McIntosh to the governance council? Which council? The people haven't met. There's no council. It's defunct. George Weah then they're operating on their own, doing whatever they want to do. That's why the economy is bad. There's no money to pay the people. We have no hospitals. We have no health care. Everything is broken down in the country. Now, violence. He says the violence emanates from the government's failure to live up to its promises to the Liberian people. And because they can't deliver, it's trying to shut the people up. Stop protests. Stop the people speaking. Try to control them. And this is a breakdown in our civil society. So all this has caused Dr. McIntosh to declare his withdrawal from the CDC and his support for George Weah, and he has given it to Alexander Cummings of the ANC. Our Liberian people got to follow the same path. This is one of the highest educated men in George Weah government. The man is telling us that his government has failed so bad that he himself has to leave this man and go to somebody else who can make our country a little better than him. What about the rest of you? What about the rest of you? If this man who is so educated and has served in every aspect of George Weah government can come at this stage and say, no, George Weah cannot lead our country no more. He's not competent enough to lead me. He is useless. He's a rogue. He's a criminal. And he needs to go to jail. George Weah, one of his partisans, also warned him recently that if they lose the election in 2023, the party that comes to power will prosecute them for stealing and corruption. They already know. It's no secret. So the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. It's deep, 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 deep in the pudding. We gotta put these people in jail. We gotta put these people in jail. My people rise, rise, rise. Aluta continua. My class on this topic is done. The time of the Liberian people is now. The stealing, the deception, the lies, the uselessness, the criminal behaviors, the incompetence is just too bad. That's bad governance. Bad governance. Bad governance. It creates violence, distrust. And the people got to take back their government. Look at what happened in Sierra Leone. The people tired of the criminals. The president going away for 1 month on the people money with her whole family to live in Britain, that expensive country. For 1 month, living on the hog, living like a king in a foreign country while his people are suffering and dying. The Sierra Leone people rose up and said, enough is enough. You got to go. What about Liberian people? Are we going to let these baboons run our country down to the ground? Are we going to let these apes destroy our country and everything that our people fought to build? Yes, we have had problems, but this problem we got today, we must handle it without delay, or our country will die. These rogues must go to jail. These rogues must be flogged. Are coming home, and I promise you, my people, if you give me the chance, I will jail them and flog them, and they will be working for us for the rest of their lives. Because in the cause of the people, the struggle continues. Aluta! Have a good day on this topic. Let me take a break. visiting Nova Scotia, Canada, I want to make my plea right now to you all. The capital city of Nova Scotia is Truro, but I can never seem to pronounce that word correct. I don't know if it's my linguistic tongue. I always say Truro or Truro, I cannot pronounce it right. So I think it's a linguistic problem. My African thing always jumping in there when I try to pronounce the American way. The African tongue come in and say, "Give me a break, brother. It's Truro, not Truro, it's Truro." Oh, you see that? Confusion in the land. But anyway, my people in Truro, Nova Scotia, forgive me for mispronouncing your name here and there, your city's name here and there. But you know, it's not from the heart. It's just from the slip of the tongue. So I have the video for you to watch. Enjoy it. And please, again, excuse my mispronunciation of the word and name of the city of Nova Scotia. Enjoy. Hello, this is the Tony Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. I'm in Troho, Nova Scotia at the Maxwell Park, where the black people of Nova Scotia, of Toro, let me pronounce that right, Truro, Nova Scotia, are celebrating Emancipation Day. Can you believe that? And I'm here to catch it all, So we see the kids playing basketball. This is the Stan Maxwell Park. Community fund donations. See all the black people? Hi.
Hey brother, how are you?
Not bad. How you doing?
Good man. Good.
How you doing, my people? Who's the sponsor of this event? Thank you very much. Yeah, my people. What's up, people? What's that? Oh, okay. What is that? What is that?
Oh, it's free.
Let me try.
Everything is free.
Are you the sponsor?
One of them.
Okay, my name is Chesson.
Hi.
I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh, we are a long ways from home.
Yeah, I have a talk show.
Ah,
I
okay.
come every morning at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So this will be my talk show.
Okay.
And what's your name?
My name is Tracy Dorrington Skinner.
Could you tell us about this event, please?
Okay, so our downtown Truro partnership, downtown Truro and the African Nova Scotian Community, Office of African Nova Scotian Affairs, have all come together to put together this Emancipation Day event. Normally we would have it on August 1st, which is Emancipation Day, but because we have a come from away community event called the Apex Golf Tournament every year, and it always happens the first full weekend that we have in August days, and so it happened to coincide with the Apex Golf Tournament this year. So we've had about over 300 people come from away, and they played a weekend of golf, and I'm not sure who the winner was yet, but I'd definitely give them a shout out, but congratulations to the winner. But so then we just tagged this on the end because we knew that Sunday we were going to have a big a karaoke this evening, and we're going to raise money for our Community Enhancement Association, who's also, that's the black organization locally that's helping to sponsor this event. So we got an Emancipation Day committee together, and thanks to the local businesses, Ella's Jamaican Food, we have Aaliyah's Dairy Floss, the folks from the Superstore, the folks from Sobeys. They've all chipped in to give us cake and stuff, and just to make this a wonderful celebration. So we are celebrating Emancipation Day to bring our community together for one, but also to understand what Emancipation Day really means, and give the kids good understanding, because chances are they're not going to learn it in school the way that it needs to be taught. So it's wonderful to hear from community elders and hear their stories and share their stories. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to Tuning Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Behind me is the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, Truro, Nova Scotia. This is where I am this morning. And when you come to Nova Scotia, Truro, Nova Scotia, and do not come and visit the Bay of Fundy, it's like coming to Nova Scotia, Truro, Nova Scotia, and not going anywhere at all. So let me take you through this bay so you can learn about it, because we were here a few years ago and we did a video on this. But since we are here in 2022, let's walk around and catch a bird's eye view of the Bay of Fundy in Truro, Nova Scotia. Thank you. There is a unique story about this bay. Certain time of the day, this bay is dry like this. This is low tide. And when there is high tide in this area, the water comes from the ocean, rushes through this area, and fills it up until you can have boats on this river. See how dry it is? How dry it is? This is low tide. And any minute now, the ocean will be coming through it. And this place will be filled with water all the way through it. So let's hang around and see the water come into the Bay of Fundy. Called the tidal bowl. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in the office at the Bay of Fundy, and I'm talking with the manager here, and he's going to give us a brief history about this area and what the bay is all about. So, sir, can you introduce yourself first and tell us?
Hello, my name is Daniel. I work here at the Fundy Discovery Site. So here at the Bay of Fundy, we're in Truro in Nova Scotia. So on the Bay of Fundy, we are famous for having the highest tides in the world. So what that means is the difference between low tide and high tide is the highest in the world. It can be up to 54 feet is our world record tide. And there are many places on the bay you're able to go and walk on the ocean floor and examine the cliffs and see how the water affects the cliffs. There's actually a part of the Bay of Fundy called a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So what that means is it's been internationally recognized as significant when it comes to the world history. So what that means is the cliffs on the Bay of Fundy have all been affected so hard by the water because of the different tides and how rough the water is, that it's been world renowned to the history of Pangea, which is the original supercontinent, which is kind of how the world started. And you're able to drive up and down route number 2, and you can see kind of how the cliffs are affected by the water.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How often is this place? How often is this place open?
We're open from 9 till 5, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
And how often does the bay fill up with water?
It is typically a tide is about 12 hours and 22 minutes up and then down, so that makes for a couple of minutes difference every day. So for example, our high tide today is at 8:32. Tomorrow it will be at about 9. I would say it'll be at around 9 o'clock.
And that's when the water comes through the...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So actually the tidal water is a little bit different. So what that is, it's on a tidal river. So we're on the Salmon River, which is off the Bay of Fundy. So what that means is that at approximately 8:32 today, there will be a big wave of high tide water that comes through. So it's at low tide right now, but it'll come opposite the river. So it's flowing right now towards the ocean, but the ocean water climbs up the river the opposite way, and it reverses the flow of the river the opposite direction for about an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
So it comes through as a big wave.
So when does the next wave come in?
It's at 8:32 tonight.
Today. Well, thank you very much for the lesson.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
That would be if you go back to the road, there's a lot of snacks, or we do have
So as you heard, Bay of Fundy is at low tide now, and it will be at 8 something tonight when the next wave of water comes running through here from the ocean, which is 12 kilometers away from here. The ocean is 12 kilometers away, and during high tide, the ocean comes running through here. And it is amazing. It is amazing. So we wouldn't be here for the next high tide tonight, but at least you got a little lesson.
Hey, little shorty, get paid. 100,000 in the safe, couple thousand in the drain. Get paid, little shorty, get paid. No, I'm always on my grind, 24 for 7 days.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the